Right? So it's about your dream. Hey, Neve, can you come up here real quick? Where's Neve? Neve! Neve, you in here? Woo! All right. So I've known Neve for, like... How long have I known you, Neve? Wait, hold on.
Neve rocks!
How long have I known you?
Since 2009, so 4 years.
And you've had a dream to do what for 4 years?
To be an entirely stay-at-home family, not have any jobs.
What have you always wanted to do? What motivates you?
I want to help other people, and I want to speak from stage. And I really want to show other people just how big they are.
Okay, everybody, okay? I want you to stand up and give Neve a round of applause. Woo! Neve. You got 10 minutes.
That's dirty.
That's dirty. Rock it, Neve! Rock it!
Guys, they just set the clock for 10 minutes. Well, shit, Dave, I was saying this like 5 minutes ago. I was like, Dave, I just want to speak. That's like all I want to do. I didn't mean like right now. Wow. Yeah, I think some of you guys know me and some of you don't. But I've always known that I was one of the different ones, that I was one of those people that was like not supposed to be in a job, not supposed to be following what other people wanted me to do, and it was really confusing for me, because it's like, how come all these people seem so satisfied? How can they seem okay with just going and doing the same thing every day, because it's boring, And so for years I kept trying to fix it. I kept trying to jump to the new thing, and I was like, well, this job sucks, so I'm gonna jump over here, and then that job would suck, so then I would jump over here. And actually, when I met my incredible partner, Mike, he kind of introduced me to thinking like an entrepreneur, because when Mike didn't like a job, he just would stop going. And he would say, yeah, it's okay, it's gonna work out. And I'd be like, but what are we gonna do on money? And he'd be like, yeah, it's okay, I just can't do that anymore. So he really taught me to start thinking like an entrepreneur, and to start thinking for myself, and to stop thinking about just following the path that everyone else seemed to be on. Because I'm sure every single person in this room understands that feeling of like looking at everyone else and going, how come everyone seems to be supposed to fall into the same exact path, and it just doesn't feel right to me. So he would convince me to quit jobs and try different things, and he also would convince me to like jump to a different job so that I could get 10 grand more a year, and be like, okay, then this is the point at which you can jump to another job. But every single job just sucked. And then I got the worst possible thing, which was a job that was just comfortable enough, that was just good enough, that gave us just enough money and just enough day-to-day just being able to go in and do it. I was working at Starbucks Coffee. And it was, because you know what? Yeah, people love Starbucks, so they smile when they see you when they come in, and you're like, okay, at least I get to see smiling faces every day. And, but I swear that was the biggest curse, was having a job that I could stand for a while. And I sort of started to lose my dreams a little bit, and I'd been through some network marketing disasters. I had over 20 grand in debt from trying to do network marketing, and not actually even really trying, because I never really believed it was possible. And the thing that got me back was I randomly one day got a message from someone who used to be in a network marketing company with me, and was saying, oh, come listen to this Wednesday call thing. And I went on, and it was Dave Wood, and he was showing an actual strategy. And it was the first time I'd ever seen anyone in network marketing teach a strategy. I was like, oh my God, they're actually teaching something. They're not just telling me to just be excited, you know? And I got so excited by that, I said, okay, let's do this. And then I started following Dave Wood everywhere. But do you know what? Every single place I went, I brought that same mentality that like, I just didn't believe that it was possible for me. I believed it was possible for Dave, and I believed it was possible for people in his team. Like, I could see Toby and Layla doing what he was teaching, and I could see, other people within the team doing what he was teaching and doing it successfully, but I would never actually take the action steps. And, on Friday night, Dave talked about how John Chapman as well was in his team for years, right? And that he'd been saying the same thing. He was saying the same thing in 2009, get 2 people a day. I was like, I've never got anybody. Like, how am I gonna get 2 people a day? So I did not really believe it was possible at all. And so because I didn't believe it was possible, I thought, if I do this, if I try, it's gonna hurt really bad when I fail. And I don't wanna experience that pain of failure. Because when I quit that other company, and the founders literally went crazy, like, just like crazy. And I was like, I can't be in this anymore, so I had to quit. And I had sworn to myself when I spent 20 grand on it, I was like, now I'll never quit. But I quit, and it hurt really bad, because I gave up on a dream. And I never wanted to feel that feeling anymore, so I stopped dreaming. And then when we got to, gosh, that clock really does go fast. But then, when we got here, I did the same thing again. I didn't follow the steps. I just was like sort of putting my toe in. And then we came to the first event in Atlanta and got to the event. And a few of you know this, but I was sitting like way, way, way at the back of the room. And I was like, from back here, no one can hypnotize me. No one can, make me think anything is possible. I'll be able to see what they're really saying. And every day, though, I was getting pulled in. It was like starting to believe it was maybe possible for me. And then on the final day, they were doing like the giant checks, and people were parading around with giant checks. And Tracy Walker shouted from stage. She shouted, "Who's going to be on stage at the next event?" And I was like, oh, me. And I just, for some reason, thought, what an amazing story this would make. And I fell in love with the story. And the story I fell in love with was a girl who comes to an event, who's never had any success before, who documents that she's decided to go on stage, and then makes it on stage by the next event and shares that documentation. So I went back to my hotel room, and I got out my camera, and I didn't have a camera phone, so I just got out my old digital camera, and actually the video that I made, I was so nervous, I was shaking like really bad, so the whole video shakes. And my voice is shaking, and it's just crazy. And so I was standing there, and the video is shaking, and I was like, so, the next event, I'm gonna be on stage, and when I'm there, I'm gonna play this video. And actually then I got home, and I put the camera away, and I got nervous, but I started to actually work. And I started to actually apply the 8 core commitments, because I had...
made my video.
Oh, thank you. And it was so awesome to watch that too. I was like, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for those of you at the back. That was Natalie. Natalie was just sharing her video she showed yesterday, was inspired by that too. It's awesome. See, because when you document something, it makes you do it. But something else that I learned at that first event was that I had brought a lot of ego, just like you were saying. I had brought a lot of ego, and I had felt that I could figure out what they were actually doing behind what they were saying that they were doing. And Chris Campbell from Stage had shared that it's not systems that fail, it's people that fail, because they insert themselves into the system. So it's like, okay, well, I've never actually done the 8 core commitments consistently, so why not just try? So I did. I started to do the 8 core commitments, and I blogged 5 times a day for 1 month. And and in that 1 month, I recruited 4 people. And yeah, and I was happy with that. I was happy with that. But I kept putting new information in. I kept listening to audios. I kept doing blogs. So I was putting stuff in and putting stuff out. And I kept going and I kept going and I kept going. And one night I woke up. I was like, oh, I just thought of the best blog ever. And I woke up, Mike. I was like, Mike, I'm going to do this blog. And then I'm going to share it over here. I'm going to share it on Facebook. And then I'm going to do a Facebook ad. And I'm going to target these people. And he was like, yeah, okay, Nate. Okay. But I wrote it all down and I wrote out my plan and I went and I did it. And lo and behold, the very next month, I recruited 50 people in 1 month. It was awesome. It was awesome. And there was a competition going, and I just fought my way in that competition, and I fought for other people, because all I could think was, I know I have the documentation. If I show them that video, they're gonna know I wasn't successful before. They're gonna see that I was shaky. They're gonna see that I didn't know what I was doing. Because sometimes you have to see it to believe it. You know, sometimes we have this little voice in our head saying, oh yeah, but Dave was always a genius, you know? Or, yeah, but Tracy Walker, she was successful over here, and then she came over here, and that's why she's successful. You know, we always have all these reasons explaining our way out of believing that it's possible for us. So I really wanted to show people that it's possible for absolutely anyone. It's possible to go from nothing. It's possible to go from nowhere, from no success, to achieving your dreams. And now I have a big red 0, so...
Yeah! Woo, woo, woo.